some certain skills that you just couldn't tell how they scaled, so a lot of these issues won't exist purely because the code that is being developed is our own. It's all Crow's, so there's nothing being directly taken because we don't have, and we never probably will have, the source code. So that alone gets rid of almost every problem from the old game. It will create new ones probably, but that in itself, is our approach, or just, a good answer to say things like martial arts and breath attack and whatever else, scaled ridiculously and couldn't be controlled in DFC. So those problems won't exist. And then on top of that, things like Berserk will more than likely get a facelift because it was something that I think a lot of us more or less agree was just not implemented correctly, and that also is true for even werewolf forms, and then certain things like a priest ability to do some kind of spell damage, or just little things that would have made a big difference will be things that we'll talk about, and then if it goes far enough, we'll actually test it and implement it. Right, exactly, yeah. So my original suggestion to Crows was, to basically make it a stance that increased your offensive abilities and decreased your defensive abilities for a certain duration, and the effect of that buff and debuff would directly be related to your skill that you trained. So you can train Berserk and you could train double every level, theoretically, and it would be very powerful, and you could continue to train it. So that would ultimately make you a better fighter in key situations, so it's also strategical. Cool. Yeah, Johnny. Parry would be interesting. I personally, I liked the parry skill. I don't obviously have the behind the scenes of it, but it may be a little different than Berserk. I think the combat stances take care of that kind of aspect of parry. Oh, Vassi, if he doesn't answer before I do,
you can go ahead and answer.
Oh, okay. So he was referring to the room IDs essentially for all of the special exits in DFC, and there was an origin ID, which is basically where that object was, and then there was a destination ID, which is where that object takes you. So we have a very crummy list already of some of them, but there's, and at this point I'm almost saying it's not that critical, it's, because I'd rather just rewrite it anyway, but it would be another kind of insight to help connect areas that we don't know how to connect.
And it would help out a lot finding out where the doors and other objects are that ended up being poofed thanks to that trap bug that people abuse to dupe objects with. I know you were able to find some by reading the description and actually saying, oh, there's a hallway to the west or there's a door to the north. But some of the areas don't have those descriptions because it was either like a hidden door or someone just didn't write it in, and I hate that we're missing so many of these doors. It's to me, it kind of makes me a little sad because, like in the Bleeding Weasel here in Southern Wars, it obviously had a lot of issues, a lot of misspellings. No one spent a lot of time on it, and so they just disabled it completely. But there were so many doors in that place, and each door went to a room, and I'm having trouble tracking it down. Having that kind of file would be amazing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Nania talked a lot about. Actually, I think she did, and then Adam, aka Eternal, mentioned that there was just not enough space. for data backups. So Johnny D again says, well, not again, sorry. He says he really liked the different attack types, such as lunge, riposte, smash. Yes, it was smash. Are you going to keep those? Absolutely. Those won't change. Those are very universal commands and attack types. And then we'd have competition. It would be interesting. Or you'd see like one of the developers' teams, go play the other game secretly, and then and then the other game gains attrition.
That's terrible to hear, Vassi. Terrible to hear.
Yeah.
Probably did. Long gone. Oh well. Move forward, can't move backwards.
It's all good. I mean, we technically we have the client, we have an active programmer. That's all we need. Well, and
you
us.
Hear that? Oh yeah, but you hear that, Mike? You're all we need, buddy.
You're all that we need.
Yeah, I mean, Cade is one of the best add-ons to DMC overall. I love that place, and to hear that the way they treated it toward the end of the game, that's sad too. I had no idea that they broke it up. I wasn't around for that. I left in late 2003, but toward the end, they for whatever reason decided to break it up.
I really enjoyed it. I know,
And breaking up or like
just the separate entity of Cade. I say Cade, by the way. Please don't judge me.
Yes, it is Cade. It is Cade.
Yeah, like I enjoyed the risk involved. Saying like there were like 2 or 3 items, and I was a troll mainly, so I couldn't go to Time Told or some of the other areas for very long, usually. But so I would go to like the Von Vale fort, and get my Von Vale heirlooms. It was a good experience, and it was a pretty necessary item to get. So I think just the overall experience was really fun as a player. But I think supposedly Kaid. I think Vassi might have a point, and we've just been saying it wrong. But
I refuse. I refuse to call it Kaid.
Well, at this point, we'll just rename it Kool-Aid, okay? And we'll just call it even.
There you go. It's Kool-Aid now.
But yeah, I'm actually, I guess since you're here, Vassi, and I think it was covered before. But what was the original, reason for breaking up Cade, other than the nuisance it was for staff members to kind of move players around when they missed the boat?
Didn't Anya tell us why? I don't remember. My memory's bad.
Yeah, I believe she mentioned that it was because a player would miss a boat and then they'd be stuck in Cade or Kaid. And or is it? I think it's actually Kaid. I think it's Eastern.
There you go. It's Kaid. Actually, that makes the most sense out of all of it, given they're they were kind of more Roman in their ways, right? Red Legion and all that. I don't know. Eastern, Roman, maybe a combination of the two.
Yeah.
They had the Emperor too, so. But Vassi says it was Crossrealm Trading that pretty much sealed its fate.
Well, I mean, can we play with the idea that going to a free-for-all area and being able to trade between realms is a bad thing? I mean, was it a super bad thing? I know it was frowned upon.
I mean, they had the same thing in WoW with Gadget Stand Auction House, so it's
right.
It's not really a super bad thing. I kind of get the reason behind it, because you're supposed to be these factions that hate each other so much. So why would you trade with each other? But I mean, it obviously it happens. It does, but more than
Right.
just this game. And it's not like Cade was responsible for that. If you didn't do it in Cade, you could have did it in any realm. You just have to get on like at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I definitely had my moments of late night wanting to switch realms. I was tired of, and it's an interesting point because if you're forced into not wanting to play in that realm anymore, you're more than likely going to want to keep your good stuff. So it's an interesting situation. But Vassi brings up a good point. People are basically, I guess, maliciously, taking advantage of the mechanics of the fourth realm. And so my question to that would be, did staff not ban or jail people? Were they not able to when they did that kind of thing? Because I think if they could, or if they did, that would have basically helped take care of the problem, I think.
They would have had to ban them just for staying in Cade longer than they were supposed to, right? Because, like Vassi said, they didn't have access to the logs of them trading gear with each other, so they'd have no idea if they did that or not.
That's true.
Yep, no hard evidence. That's what he said. Yeah. So you could only really punish them for missing the boat, so to speak, the last boat out.
Yeah.
Well, in Rises, I don't think that's going to be an issue. You can just force teleport people if you have to. Whenever it ends, as soon as they log on, if it's not their realm's turn, they just go poof.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously something that we'll be considering pretty heavily. If if enough people say that Kaid, Kool-Aid, whatever, was
Rock.
it. Yeah, I'll just say it. It was a vital piece to the game. Then we'll put it in, and we'll have something like a fail-safe. That's be sure to clear any issues. At least the ones that came up in the past. Okay.
It is Kool-Aid from now on. It is Kool-Aid. That's what it's called.
But we'll spell it differently, so people will still mispronounce it. But at least,
There you go.
Kul.
Now it's Kool-Aid.
And then for this question, I'm just going to read it out so that people can hear it later. Eric asks Vassi, so how often would someone put themselves in a help queue, not get the answer they want, then go back to help queue until they get a staff that gives them the answer they wanted? Clade. Clayed. Yeah. I must say it was interesting to see, I suppose, the original kind of map that inspired all the basic locations of everything. The one that I suppose Nania said she had, and it ended up being the one that you guys have. And it showed the island. It wasn't an island, it was literally east of Tamia or whatever.
Oh, that DFC map? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know who made that. Still, I have no idea who made that. That's very interesting. I wonder if Vassi, do you know who made that DFC graphical map? Was it a staffer or a player? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can upload it for you. But I always envisioned Kool-Aid as being an entire different continent. It always seemed that way to me. I never thought it would have been connected to whatever continent that Tamia was in. It seemed so weird that it was like to the east of the Eastern Desert. I mean, I think in the original story it does say that that's where they come from, though. If you read on that story, it's all like the Kadite armies poured over, or the Kool-Aid armies poured over from out of the Eastern Desert into their lands. So maybe it was.
So what's the battle cry when Kool-Aidites get off the boat?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
All right, Vassi, I'll grab it for you 1 second, bud.